Everything you're about to hear is for education and entertainment purposes only. Whilst we are licensed, we're not aware of your personal financial circumstances. Any advice is general advice. Equity Mates operates under Australian Financial Services Licence 540697.
Equity Mates!
I will say this about investing. Everything you do learn is cumulative. What I learned at 20 is useful.
Equity.
Welcome to another episode of Equity Mates, a podcast where we explore what's possible in the world of investing. If you've just joined us for the first time, a massive welcome. My name's Bryce, and today we have a big show. We get an update on one of Ren's bold predictions. We're doing Pimp My Portfolio, and Not Financial Advice is back. To chat through it, as always, is my equity buddy, Ren. How are you?
I'm very good, Bryce. Very excited for this episode. We have a lot to cover. There's a lot going on. It's good to see that we're getting some feedback on things we're doing.
Love feedback.
In the last Equity Mates chat episode, where it was just you and I, we spoke about Australia's dividend darlings. The 12 stocks we found that have raised their dividend for the past 10 years. There were only 12 stocks. It was our take on the US dividend aristocrats. One of the company's CEOs has reached out. Two have.
Not CEO.
No, you're thinking of a different company.
Okay.
Yeah.
Spill the beans.
So you're thinking of Solpats.
Yes.
Who have reached out, and Fiducian Group have also reached out.
Oh, nice.
So there we go. People are listening.
They hit you up?
No, just on LinkedIn.
So yeah, one of the corporate affairs employees at Solpats messaged and said, Ren, that when we spoke about the dividend darlings, it was with a 15-year time run, was it?
10.
10?
Yeah. Solpats have almost done 25. Yeah, we know. They're very proud of it, and they should be, and their shareholders are very happy, we're sure. This isn't about them. This is about us.
But yes, keep the feedback coming.
Yeah. But look, that's not the only segment that we've done recently that's got some feedback. Another one that we've had bubbling along for a while is the ASX needs an acronym. We had, a few years ago, we had the WAX stocks, which was the Australia's technology answer to the FANG stocks over in the US. But that's kind of faded away now. A few of those companies have been acquired or are about to be acquired. We need another acronym.
Yeah.
So we had Charlie Viola come through with banker.
Yep.
Fitting, given we're a country of banks and miners, as the saying goes. But
what saying's that?
You haven't heard that? The ASX is full of banks and miners?
Is that a saying?
Yeah.
I've definitely heard it, but I thought it was like more of a saying than that. Anyway.
But we've also had Lindsay come through this week, who has suggested another acronym.
Yeah, more than an acronym. He's suggested a full-on sentence.
well, hit us up.
So Lindsay's given us two acronyms, a 26-character one and a 22-character one. We'll go with the 22-character one. It's called the True Blue FU22. The acronym is ASX is boring as fork. So ASX, he has ASX, Santos and Xero. Is IAG and Suncorp. Boring is BHP, Origin, Rio Tinto, REA Group, Reece, then IGO, NAB and Goodman. Then As is ANZ, Seven Group, and then Fork is Fortescue, Aristocrat, Westpac, Wesfarmers, Woodside, CBA and CSL.
Wow, that's a pretty good wrap of the top 20.
Yeah. I don't know if we can do much better than that, but if you can beat Lindsay with an acronym for Australia's answer to the Magnificent Seven.
So if you want to see the 22, if you couldn't track Bryce then and the full 26, we'll put it on our Instagram.
Yeah.
And if you think you've got a better one, hit us up because I want to keep this thing going.
Far out.
I reckon the ASX is boring as fork probably isn't really much of an abbreviation to the ASX top 20.
In fact, it's more than the top 10.
Yeah.
It's 22. Look, the True Blue FU22.
Still not that much of an abbreviation. But look, heaps going on in markets, so let's get into it.
News and markets.
That's right. Now, some news that has been picked up in the Equity Mates community. On Monday, Superhero, one of the online brokers here in Australia, reduced their brokerage fees.
Whoa. That
First.
Depends on how. There you go. This is a
Changed.
classic example the story changes on how you report it.
True. Superhero increased their brokerage fees.
Superhero changed
Yeah.
the brokerage fees.
Superhero changed their brokerage fees. The reason we want to talk about it briefly is that there was a lot of conversation in the Equity Mates community and a lot of questions coming
Yeah,
from
and
it.
you screwed up.
I did
and
screw
so
up,
we've got
yeah.
to talk about that.
I'll definitely talk about it.
Let's talk about the change before we get into the details.
So they are now doing ASX trades of up to $20,000 at $2 brokerage.
Yep. And they were previously $5.
Previously $5. ASX ETFs, or any ETFs, used to be $0. They are now all $2.
Yep.
And
The US
the US is $2.
used to be free,
Used to be free.
now $2.
Yes. And
So
they've
they've
dropped their exchange from the
Foreign
FX
exchange
transfers.
Okay, yeah. So for US trades, they've increased it to $2 US.
Yep.
For ETFs, it's now $2 depending on what currency the ETF is in.
Yep.
And Aussie, it's come down to $2.
Yes.
That's the news.
Yep.
It's just, I guess, another part of the race to the bottom for a lot of these brokers. When we started investing, ComSec 1995 a trade was best in class. Now we've got Superhero at 2, Stake at 3, Sharesies, Perla, CMC, IG, all sub 10. Like, it's pretty good.
Yeah, like the accessibility is definitely improved, and it's great to see. But you mentioned that I screwed up, and I want to make this more personal and about me.
Yeah. This whole show's about you.
And I think this was probably one of the one of the overriding questions in the community was, you and I have both spoken a lot about how we use Superhero as our core
Amongst many brokers. Yeah.
But a large part of what we have liked about Superhero is the ability to automate, which is one feature which is great, but automate into ETFs, our core portfolio, at zero brokerage. Means you can just keep on plugging it in. Now, the question that came out of this is that still going to remain, or are we now needing to pay $2 for every time we're automating in? Because if you are, you need to really consider how much you're going to be putting in, because $2 on what is a $100 investment becomes actually a meaningful brokerage fee.
Yeah.
I looked at it and didn't do enough research, and so went in and amended all of my automated trading, because for me, I was dollar cost averaging weekly, and it was costing me almost 2% in.
Yeah, so you're doing like
every
$100
trade.
at a time.
Yeah, and that was across, my core portfolio of 4 or 5 ETFs.
Yep.
And so it just didn't make sense for me. So I went in and amended all of them. Then I jumped into the Facebook group. A lot was happening, wanting to know, is this going to change? Are they going to honour it? Spoke to Superhero. The good news is, for those that have recurring ETF orders, not even ETF orders, just recurring orders,
Yep.
you will be honoured the $0 brokerage.
Nice.
If you don't make any change.
Okay. Yes.
So if you don't amend it, if you don't change the price, if you don't change the frequency, it will stay at $0. So as soon as the change is made, it will revert to $2. But nonetheless, good on them for honouring that.
Well, that's a lesson to check the Facebook discussion group before making any big financial moves.
And to be fair, they did put that in an email that they sent to all their customers as well, and I just didn't read that email.
Look, my big takeaway on it is $2 Superhero, $3 Stake, all of those brokers that I listed before, none of them are bad options. If you're paying less than 1% per trade in brokerage, you're fine. Just find a broker that works for you, because the dirty little secret in finance is whichever broker you use, you're buying the same stuff.
Heard it here first.
BHP on all those brokers is BHP.
Heard it here first.
So
anyway, I said at the top, Ren, that we're going to have an update on one of your bold predictions. So hit us.
yeah, well, one of my bold predictions at the start of the year was that one of the 3 major TV networks, 7, 9 and 10, one of them would be sold.
Yep.
And I said, look, that's actually probably not that bold. So I said the boldness comes in 2 of them will be sold.
Okay, forgot about that bit.
Oh, damn it. I mean, just one. And the reason why one wasn't super bold was Channel 10 is on the chopping block. It's owned by Paramount Global, which is a US film and TV giant, and Channel 10 is tiny in their grand scheme of things, and it's probably not core to their strategy going forward. But what is actually happening is that the owner of Paramount Global the ownership of Paramount Global is changing, and with it, Channel 10 may change. So, firstly, exciting that one of my bold predictions is coming true.
Congrats.
Secondly, it's a fascinating story, I think, for two reasons. First of all, there's a story of shareholder alignment, and being a small minority shareholder comes with perils, and the small minority shareholders are finding out in this case. And then secondly, the classic story of Nepo babies.
All right. Well,
now, is that a term you're familiar with? Nepo babies? Yeah.
As in, instead of just, I guess, inheriting shitloads of money from your parents.
Yeah. So it's like a term where like people get all the advantages in life, and like it was big in Hollywood because a lot of actors' kids are becoming actors.
Yeah.
And they were Nepo babies.
Yeah.
Nepotism. Yeah. This is the business version of that.
Okay. Talk to what's happening.
Well, which of the two do we want to start with?
Nepo babies.
So the company that is looking to buy Paramount Global so we should be clear, looking to buy the company that has a controlling stake in Paramount Global, and we'll get to that in the second part of the story. But the company looking to buy it is called Skydance Media. A little bit about Skydance Media. It's owned by David Ellison. If that surname sounds familiar,
Larry.
David is the son of Larry Ellison, who co-founded Oracle and is the fifth wealthiest person on earth. I think
so rich.
About $140 billion to his name.
It's crazy.
Now, I did some DD on Skydance. Just wanted to see a bit about it. It seems like, now this is all alleged, but it seems like David Ellison started this company, this film production studio, to put himself in movies.
What? Really?
Because he was trying to be an actor in the mid-2000s. He starts Skydance. The first, in 2006, the first movie he produces is called Flyboys, starring James Franco.
Never heard of it.
Yeah. Also starring David Ellison.
Okay.
Story is that he put $60 million of his own money in to make the movie.
Dad's money.
Yes. and look, then David Ellison appears in a bunch of other movies. I think he was in like An American Pie and like a bunch of other movies. But he's obviously put his dreams of Hollywood stardom on hold and has instead put his dreams of becoming a Hollywood power broker not on hold, because since then Skydance has gone on to produce a number of big movies. The recent Mission Impossibles, recent Star Treks, Jack Reacher, the recent Top Gun, like some big names. So that's Skydance. But now this is on another level. This isn't producing movies or producing TV shows. This is buying one of the
assets,
the biggest Hollywood media conglomerates, and it will include ownership of Channel 10. But I think, and where the Nepo baby story comes into
surely he can land a role in a movie if he buys Paramount.
Well, like, we've had children of billionaires for generations.
Yeah.
But for the first time ever, we're going to start seeing the children of billionaires. And what you can do if you inherit
100 billion.
100 billion. What you can do if you inherit 100 billion is very different to what you can do if you inherit a billion.
So much money.
And so, like now it's the Ellisons, but in time it will be Gateses, Bezoses, Zuckerbergs, Musks. There's like 7 families that are knows over in Europe.
Yeah.
And literally, like, if you put these guys up in the S&P 500, that would be massive in their own right.
Yeah.
And
so just to close this out then, how close, it hasn't happened, but it's very, very close.
Yeah.
Like it's imminent, it feels.
So
Skydance will own Paramount or a major stake in.
Well, so Skydance has an exclusive negotiating period until May. So they're still negotiating and it's probably going to happen. But this is where the second part of the story, alignment between controlling shareholders and non-controlling shareholders, is relevant. Paramount is controlled by a company, National Amusements.
Yeah.
It owns about 10% of the company, but it owns 77% of the voting shares.
Yeah. It's a female. I can't remember her name.
Yeah. She, her grandfather started a movie cinema chain, and now this is what the company is. And because she has control of Paramount Global, there is allegations that she is going to negotiate a deal that's in her best interest and not in the best interest of the Paramount Global shareholders. And she would be able to do that because she has the majority, the controlling stake. Apollo, the private equity firm, has apparently put in like a $26 billion all cash offer.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of like the fallback. But the question will be, if the deal that they make with Skydance isn't as good as the Apollo deal, well, she can make that deal because she's got controlling shares. But other shareholders are going to feel like they got screwed.
Yeah. I was going to say what I find most interesting about that is this Apollo part. They've had some of the biggest VC firms look at this deal, and she keeps rebuffing all of them. She said no to the Apollo deal.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'll keep an eye on this one. It feels like it should be closing out pretty soon. But what will be most interesting as well, Ren, is the second part to this bold prediction. Who else in Australia is going to come along?
Well, yeah. And to be honest, if Skydance buy Paramount Global, they'll do a review of all the assets. Where Channel 10 sits in that and what they do with Channel 10 will probably then be a conversation we're having later this year.
This is Pimp My Portfolio. Pimp My Portfolio.
Very excited about this Pimp My Portfolio, where we bring in a community member and an expert to get their portfolio pimped. And we've got a new expert in the studio today, none other than Adam Dawes. Dawesy, welcome.
Thanks. It's great to be here, guys. Absolutely.
We are super pumped. We've got Adam over the next couple of months doing a few Pimp My Portfolios along with Luke, so we cannot wait. It's going to be great. And we've got Grant, community member, joining us. Grant, welcome to Equity Mates.
Thanks, dude. Really happy to be here. And it sounds so fancy when you call me Grant. I'm used to be calling Grant.
Okay.
A bit of a,
Grant.
a bit of a bogan accent. So yeah, very fancy.
Bryce tells us he is very fancy, so not
Yes,
surprising.
Fine, Grant. Anyway, Ren, Grant submitted his portfolio. What does it look like?
Yeah, so Grant has four. He's got four ETFs anchoring his portfolio. He's got the iShares S&P 500 ETF, the Van Eck ASX Mid Cap ETF, BetaShares Aussie Resources, and then Vanguard FTSE Asia ex Japan. Together, those four ETFs are about 40% of the portfolio. Then we've got some individual stocks: BHP, CSL, Core Lithium, Pilbara Minerals, and New Hope Corporation. And then finally, a small allocation to Raise and an allocation to Bitcoin as well.
Love it.
So, Dawesy, that's the portfolio.
Yeah. It looks really good. And we're going to call this one a Dom Dollar portfolio in aid of Dom Dollar headlining Coachella over the weekend on Saturday night. So
Dawes is a DJ fan.
Love
Yeah,
that,
absolutely.
love that.
So and Grant, this is one of the ones where this portfolio looks really good. Like you've got some good quality businesses in there and stocks in there. But just run me through how did you come to get this list of stocks that we've got here today?
Yeah, I'm surprised that you said it was good. So yeah, that is coming at a big surprise. But yeah, I guess looking at my investments, I kind of and looking at my portfolio, I have the picture. It's like whenever I look at modern art, it just looks like someone stood back and just thrown paint at a canvas and hoped some stuck. And that was kind of my approach as I hit my kind of 40s, in thinking I've got this money sitting around and it's not doing anything for me. So I should probably actually do something with it and invest some of it in stocks. And I kind of did that, just like stood back and just threw some money at a number of different things and hoped that some would stick.
Well, maybe it doesn't look like a great portfolio. Keep going, Grant.
Yeah.
Keep going. Yep.
But yeah, just thinking through like the next kind of 5 to 10 years, do I just kind of like sit on these stocks and keep kind of putting some money into those like EFTs? Is that where I should be kind of concentrating some money, like putting some extra money into that? Or is there some other direction which I should sort of move some money around, some of the stocks around? Yes, yeah.
So first of all, the reason why I do like this portfolio is that you do have some international ETFs. Okay, so that thing, as far as asset allocation, we need to have Aussie shares, but we need to have international shares as well. Okay, so you've got the IVV, so you've probably made some good money on that. However, it is, when we talk about portfolio weightings, it's around about sort of 20% of the portfolio. Generally, we like to have 5% weightings in any one stock or an ETF, or maximum 10 to 15% maximum. So as IVV's probably done quite well for you over the last sort of 3, maybe even 6 months, you can start to trim some of that holding, and using that capital then to pick up something else or to build out the portfolio going forward. So BHP, obviously, a great one. CSL, those are the kind of stocks that we call the core versus satellite. You want to have a good core portfolio of businesses that will continue to generate revenue, income, and everything else going forward. And then from there, having some international exposure in there. But one of the ones that you're probably hurting on is the core lithium, the CXO. You've obviously gone quite attached to that. So I think the lithium space is the right way to be. But core lithium, you would be in a losing position on that one.
Yeah, right.
So, potentially looking to get rid of some of those losing positions, and then picking some or putting it into some of more of those winners, or something like, the PLS, Pilbara Minerals, is a fantastic stock. So, keep building that portfolio up as well. So I think, you've got certainly a good quality side of things here, but we need to, sort of broaden that portfolio out a little bit more with either one individual investments, or keep going with those ETFs. And then potentially looking at sort of some commodity ETFs that are looking quite good. So there's some uranium ETFs that are looking very, very good. There's a copper ETF that looks really good also.
I was going to say, the copper one, the wire, I think it was the buy or sell segment a few weeks ago.
Yeah, so that's a great one. We still think copper is in deficit and will continue to be in deficit for the next 2 to 3 years. So there's some real uplift that you can get on some of those resource side of things. But also, you're having some financials, Macquarie Group, those kinds of businesses, they're very, very good. And I really like the raise side of things as well. I use that as well. I think it's fantastic. Everybody should have something of those raise in their portfolio as well, because that just helps you save extra money going forward.
From a young age, I wasn't at all educated about investing and stuff, and it's definitely helped my kids get into that kind of mindset.
Yeah, definitely.
Of putting away money and actually making their money work for them.
So, Adam, just one question I have. You've mentioned that Grant has, the iShares S&P 500, which is great index core ETF.
Yeah.
The equivalent for what he's got exposure to here in Australia is individual stocks, so BHP, CSL, Core Lithium, and then a mid-cap ETF.
Yeah.
So is the suggestion you're saying to build out more of the singular big cap stocks, or the alternative is to find the equivalent of the S&P 500, but maybe for the ASX 200?
So with low balance portfolios, or only putting in a certain couple of $1,000, ETFs are the way to go, right?
Okay.
Absolutely, because you can build out your portfolio. Because you buy one ETF, you get a basket of 200 stocks, so the ASX 200, the S&P ASX 200, and they're so cheap these days. Like the MERs, the management expense ratios, I think it's like 0.2, or it's
I think Beta shares is now 0.04.
There you
I
go. think,
right. Vanguard is similar. Yeah, they're
so cheap.
They'll
right?
be free eventually.
Yeah, well, they will. It's a race to the bottom, isn't it?
Yeah.
So so it's a great question, because having smaller amounts of money, you can then put them into, say, the ASX 200, and that will build out, because then it does have the BHP, CSL, CommBank, and all those kinds of things. If you've got a larger amount of money that you're needing to, you can then diversify further out by then picking individual good quality blue chip stocks. Now our market's quite small. I mean, we've got a couple of resources, some banks, a telco, and some supermarkets. I mean, that's pretty much about it, really.
Yeah.
So you can always then find some really good quality businesses in those top 50s, and then sort of building it out. But for low balances, definitely using those ETF indexes. IVV is really good. Then we look overseas. You've got Europe, you've got Asia, and then there's actually a global ETF, which is just basically everything in the world, right? So you can get that diversification and it can continue to grow. But Grant, are you regularly contributing to this portfolio, or is this something that's sort of just throw the modern art on the wall and then you've left it?
Stand back and look.
How's it going?
No, it is something that's being regularly contributed to. Yeah.
Okay, so that's good. So building out some of those percentages, and I'd just be careful with the higher percentages that you've got there. So potentially trimming some of that, depending on how much money you're sort of looking at, but trimming some of those higher weightings. Rule of thumb is 5% weighting in a portfolio or for per individual stock or an ETF, you'd probably go to 10 to 15%. But then you sort of want to sort of maintain those weightings and then trimming as they continue to go higher, or then, putting fresh money in, which will then eventually reduce the weightings anyway into the portfolio.
Yeah, right.
Nice. Well, love that, Dawesy. I think there's some great tips there. Grant, hopefully that's helped.
That's very, very helpful, yeah.
We'll leave it there, Grant. Thank you so much, and I hope that Adam's been able to provide some something to think about and action in your portfolio.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Really helpful. Yep. Really helpful.
No worries. Well, have a great day, Grant. Thank you for submitting, and all the best with it.
Cheers. Thanks, guys.
If you'd like to submit to Pimp My Portfolio, head to equitymates.com/contact. All the information is there to submit. If you'd like to speak with Adam as well, head to equitymates.com/advice. Tick the Adam Dawes button and we'll put you in contact. But Adam, great one to kick off with. Good luck to Dom Dollar on the weekend.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.
We'll pick it up next episode.
See you guys.
This is Pimp My Portfolio. Pimp My Portfolio.
We're going to take a very quick break, and then on the other side, we've got not financial advice from some of the leading TikTok influencers around the world. It's back. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Equity Mates. It is time for...
This is not financial advice.
That's right. We are back with what is fast becoming my favourite segment, Not Financial Advice, where we trawl the depths of the internet for some of the worst financial advice out there. This is a series we have been doing on our Instagram for a while, and we wanted to bring it to life on the podcast because there's some crackers out there.
Last time we did it, I left feeling dejected about what people are believing out there.
Okay.
So
what? Yeah. Okay. But maybe you should feel like there's a renewed sense of purpose in your content creation. Your job is to drown out everyone else out there.
But imagine if there's another show out there that's putting what we're doing in there, not financial advice.
Yeah. Hey, as long as they're downloading.
True. All right. What have we got?
I've got 3. Yeah, I'll just do 3.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, here we go. Here's the first one, Bryce.
Be sure to make $1 million or more with very little effort. Whenever you go to a hotel, get a bunch of free soap instead of buying it from a store. This will save you on average $45 a month. Then if you invest that into the S&P 500, you're estimated to have...
Wait. He spends $45 a month on soap?
On soap, yeah. Well, look, judging by the age of him, you can hear it in his voice. I don't think he spends any money on soap. I think his parents probably...
I was going to say, he sounds super young.
But hey,
good $100 challenge idea, though.
Still $45 worth of soap.
This will save you on average $45 a month. Then if you invest that into the S&P 500, you're estimated to have over $1 million by retirement.
Okay, I don't mind that part. Okay. Like the execution of what he's doing, I didn't mind. And so I think if you're putting the become a millionaire without having to do anything, kind of what he's saying is right. We say that.
No, you have to steal soap every month.
Okay, minus the $45 of soap.
And also, what he hasn't factored in there is the cost of the hotel room.
True. Yeah, very true. But I think there's worse financial advice out there. Let's put it this way.
There's variations of that I've seen. Another one that I've seen is go to an all-you-can-eat buffet.
What, and take the food?
Take food, and then put the savings in the S&P 500. Again, we're directionally heading in the right way.
They're improving. I don't think you can do that at a buffet, though.
Take food.
like fill your handbag.
Well,
and
in the same way that you can't steal soap from hotels, you can do whatever you want if they don't catch you.
you can take the stuff from hotels. Everyone does it.
True, yeah, that's probably actually, yeah.
But it's not a saving because to your point, you've paid for the hotel room.
Yeah. All right, Bryce. Anyway, let's
Also,
not go.
what's the name of that backing track? I like that song.
I don't know.
Ding, 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 ding.
We can Shazam it after
Yeah,
this.
it's a very, very famous song. All right, next one.
This is the sketchiest thing I'm doing to make extra money. I've started selling trade lines on my credit cards. I'm using this site. This isn't sponsored. I just want to point out that they're like legit. And so essentially what this is, if a person has bad credit, but they know that they need to get a mortgage or a car loan or something, they pay money to this website.
What's a trade line?
So she's going to explain it.
Oh, okay.
But this is a little bit of a longer video. It's like 2 minutes, so we might not get through the whole thing. Let's listen, and if it's not clear, then
okay.
And
Firstly, anything. Okay, credit card related, no good.
They pay money to this website. This website matches them up with me based on what they're looking for, and I add them as an authorized user to my credit card for a set amount of time. They don't physically get any sort of card. They don't get my name. They don't have my information. I have all of their information. But the thing is, because they're an authorized user, they get my credit history.
What?
And that raises their credit score.
What? And they can use her credit card to regain credit score?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. No way.
listen to how much.
What's her due diligence on this?
Yeah, well, not a lot.
She would get rinsed.
Yeah, and so they could ruin her credit.
Ruin?
Yeah, but listen to how much money she makes.
I would not be doing this if I didn't know multiple people in person who had also done this and like said it was legit, because it seems so sketchy. I gave this website my banking information so that they can direct deposit me money. And the amount you get paid depends on your credit limit, the length the card has been open, various things. And so the ones I have ranges from $40 to $80. Which might not sound like much, but if I get $40 and it took me 5 minutes,
it seems so sketchy because it's, if not illegal, definitely against the terms and conditions of your credit card.
Definitely. Okay, I want to know how much she's made.
So I've done this a few times now. I think I have 8 possible spots on my different credit cards. They've paid out about $200 so far, and I have another $200
per person.
Yeah,
what?
Per person
All
to
that
add to.
risk?
Yeah.
Oh,
ruin your credit score for $40.
Oh my goodness, this is unbelievable. The setup of credit in America is
I know
absolutely cool.
Yeah, she goes on to say, you get the point here, but she goes on to say she has 6 credit cards, and she can add 6 people to them or something.
Oh my God. Not worth it. And ruin your own score. Not good financial advice. Do not do that.
Yeah.
You couldn't do that here in Australia, no way.
Oh, well, you shouldn't do it, regardless, wherever you're listening to this.
Final one?
I debated whether this one should go in. This one might not hit.
Okay.
But this story does the rounds a lot, especially on TikTok.
Okay. And I think to pull back the curtain here as well is I don't go on TikTok. So for everyone listening, if you're wondering why Ren is having to explain basic meme culture, that is why.
Yeah. Tell me if you've heard this conspiracy before as you listen to it.
It's a conspiracy?
Well, let's listen.
Okay.
These 2 companies are the most powerful entities on Earth, and it's not even close. When we ponder over the most influential companies globally, names like Apple, Google, or Amazon often come to mind. However, in comparison, these companies are merely insignificant when compared to the colossal entities known as BlackRock and Vanguard.
Also,
BlackRock and Vanguard stand as the most formidable investment funds globally, managing a staggering $15 trillion in assets. To put it into perspective, this amount is approximately 5 times the GDP of France. So, how did these corporations attain such world control? The explanation is straightforward. Vanguard and BlackRock possess ownership stakes in virtually all the most influential companies across the globe. They are the primary shareholders
it's like,
in Google, Apple,
Scientology,
Facebook, Amazon, and Microsoft.
This is ridiculous.
They have become financial behemoths.
People are genuine.
This is a big conspiracy. Yeah.
The BlackRock are global.
Well, the truth of the matter is Vanguard and BlackRock have massive ownership stakes in most public companies. We know the reason why.
Yeah.
Because they have massive fund management business, and so we put our money with them, and then they buy shares in these companies.
Yes.
The conspiracy is that these two companies actually control the world. And that, across industries, like if you look at Coles and Woolworths, Vanguard is the biggest shareholder in both.
Yeah.
And, really there's just an illusion of choice, and the man behind the curtain is actually these two companies.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
This conspiracy is so big. The truth is they are shareholders. The conspiracy is that they exercise level
ownership
of
rights
world
and
domination and control.
Yeah.
But like Robert F. Kennedy Jr., big BlackRock conspiracy guy.
What?
Yeah.
Bet he has some money with them though.
Probably. And he's prone to a conspiracy, but listen to him on the campaign.
With the purpose of what though?
Well, it's like if
breaking them up, or
if you believe that if you're prone to that conspiracy thinking, and you're prone to thinking that there's a level of control exercised over the world, that things aren't just self-interested actors clashing against each other and a lot of randomness, but there's a overarching conspiracy and control. BlackRock is the perfect
target
encapsulation of that. Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, I think you get the point.
Yeah.
They go on to talk about how
I'd love to read the comments in that thread.
Well, a lot of people believe
that's
it.
What I mean.
That's the thing. Yeah.
But what do they want out of it? What? So what?
What do you mean?
What are they trying to say? We need to break them up, or it's just you guys who don't believe this have the wool pulled over your eyes.
Yeah. It's people need to wake up to it. They're evil.
It's not Apple. It's not Google.
Yeah.
It's BlackRock. It's Vanguard.
Yeah. And in this video, it goes on to say Vanguard and BlackRock are the major shareholders in all media companies, and so everything they show us on the media is to just keep us distracted.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So it's that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Well, 3 good examples of not good financial advice.
If you want to watch this whole video, actually all of these videos, every Friday we do our roundup on Instagram, and this one went out a few weeks ago.
Nice, love it. If you'd like to submit a video that's come across your feed to the Not Financial Advice segment, hit us up in our DMs or equitymates.com/contact. Shoot us the link and we'll include it in our upcoming segments. But Ren, that brings us to the end of today's chat. If you'd like to submit to Pimp My Portfolio or a question, or you'd just like to send us some feedback, as we said at the top, we love getting feedback.
Yeah, if you've got an acronym
yes.
For the ASX,
shoot it through equitymates.com/contact. And one final thing, please, if you could rate and review us on your podcast app. Thank you to everyone that actually went and did that off the back of last episode. We do really appreciate it. But Ren, we'll leave it there. We'll pick it up next episode.
Sounds good.
You have been listening to an Equity Mates Media production. In the spirit of reconciliation, Equity Mates Media acknowledges the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea and community. We pay our respects to their elders past and present and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples today. This podcast is intended for education and entertainment purposes. Any advice is general advice only and has not taken into account your personal financial circumstances, needs, or objectives. Before acting on general advice, you should consider if it is relevant to your needs and read the relevant product disclosure statement. And if you're unsure, please speak to a financial professional. The hosts of this podcast and their guests may have positions in the companies mentioned. Equity Mates Media operates under an Australian Financial Services Licence 540697.